So today I've walked from Sea Houses and I come to a bit called Holy Highland, and it's been a little bit of a nightmare really, because to start off with I could see the coast path and I've been losing the path. There were a part earlier where I lost the coastal path and it was telling me to walk down really busy roads, and obviously I've got 2 dogs so I didn't really want to risk it, so I started walking over farmers' fields. I think I might have done a little bit of trespassing, but then I found another coastal path what's not on the maps, and no one really knows about it, because I'll speak to a bloke about it and he says no one knows about this path, but it takes you all the way around the perimeter of Holy Island. It's hard to explain this place, you'd have to look on Google Maps, but basically it's just farmers' fields and marshland. And again I kept losing the path, but I managed to find the path again. I've been on it all day, I'm probably halfway through it, and I've done a lot of walking, so there's not going to be those shops tonight. I'm a little bit thirsty, but not that bad, so I think I'll last till tomorrow. And yeah, this is where I'm staying tonight, at side of a farmer's field in this sleeping bag. Both my dogs are there asleep because they're knackered as well, so I'm going to wake up in the morning and try and reach the next village, and I think first thing I'll do is go and get a drink and things like that. But honestly today I've done a lot of walking. The terrain's been massive hills, massive sand dunes. I went through a place where there were just thousands of rabbits. I had to have lurcher on lead at all times. Yeah, it's probably been the most difficult part of the walk so far, Holy Island. If anyone's walked through there, you'll know what I mean. You can actually see it in distance there, and yeah, that's me done for the day. If you're wondering where dogs sleep tonight, this is where they're sleeping. Under here, aren't you? Now go back to sleep. Grass is nice and spongy and soft, and this will keep them warm. Dogs with a body eat together under this. I've used this as a coat myself with these dogs. Red hot in there now. That pit bull thing's red hot. Both of them are. Aren't you, mate? Hey, you're red hot, aren't you? Hey. Go on, good sleep, good sleep. So like most mornings, everything gets wet from the morning dew. Well, a little bit damp anyway. The top of my sleeping bag got a little bit damp, but the grass underneath me stayed dry, and I stayed dry. Plus the dog stayed underneath it with me as well, so that was a little bit of a bonus. But it's a foggy morning today. So it's about 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to start walking. So I want to make it out of this place. I'm quite thirsty now as well. I think dogs are a little bit thirsty as well. And another thing, wherever there's sheep, there's wool. And if you put wool and Vaseline together, you can get a fire going really easy with it. think these cows are trying to intimidate me and dogs. It's working a little bit. Get size on them. Gate's just there now, so I'm alright. It's these signs what I've been trying to follow, and sometimes they're not really helpful, shall I say. They can almost point you in the wrong direction, I think, sometimes, so you've got to be quite careful with them. Sometimes you'll follow the sign and you'll be walking thinking, you sure this is where I'm supposed to come? Then you'll go through a load of obstacles, then you will come across the next sign. But yeah, it's not all that straightforward. Come on. That road behind me, it goes to Holy Island, and that's Holy Island in distance. I think there's a castle on there and all sorts. Well, I'm not going to Holy Island, I'm walking straight up north, because it's quite far over there and I don't really want to go there. If there were a bus what goes there, I'd probably go on bus there. Welcome to Lindisfarne, a window on the seasons. In spring and summer at Lindisfarne National Nature Reserve you can see birds such as common terns feeding by the bridge. Eider duck gather along the low as they crest their young for protection. If you're lucky you may see shell duck leading their brood from their burrows in the dunes over the flats to feed. I'll tell you a story. So when I first started this journey from Skegness, I got to a place called Saltfleet, and the beach went massive, and they were massive orange, well, they were targets, but I didn't know what they were at the time. And as I was walking through there, a massive tractor, one of those what can drive into the sea and then pull things out, has come driving over to me saying, you can't walk through here, mate, it's a shooting range. So I says, why, what they shooting, shotguns and things like that? He says, no, it's an RAF shooting range and they drop bombs and things like that. I think this is what this place used to be. Birds and animals I assume they've always been nesting round here since probably before we were here. And there's things like this going off, and then RSPCB's like, oh, you can't walk through these certain places with dogs and things like that. But it's alright for the military to drop bombs around places and things. Right, so where I am now, I'm on a massive beach, and there's sand for as far as you can see. And just to the right there, there's land, and you can see the land that goes all the way up. It's nice and green. Now, this sea floor here, when the tide comes in, well, this bit of sand, sorry, this is the sea floor when the tide comes in. In the past, well, I can remember doing it once near Skegness. So what I did, I tried to follow the sea, and I was walking near the sea, and like this beach, the beach got really big, and it come to parts where there was rivers, and they were starting to come behind me. I nearly got cut off, and it's really dangerous. So if you're ever on a beach like this and you don't really know what you're doing, I think it's best to stick to the land, because if you go too far out there, you can get cut off quite easy enough. And having said that, the Scottish border is probably a 3 hours hike that way, so I'm looking on getting Scotland today on the 29th day. I'm not going to celebrate yet, I'll save it for later on. Right, so I've come to a bit now where basically I've got to cross this river and it looks quite deep. Well, it is quite deep. So, watch, and this is what I'm going to do. Take my shoes and socks off. Now, as you can see from my videos, my lurcher don't really go in waters like swimming and things like that, but you're going to in a minute. Got some quite important stuff in this bag, like spare phones and power banks and things like that, so I have to be careful not to get it wet. Quite heavy as well. I don't think I'm going to be able to throw it across. This water's deep. Come on, don't go any deeper than that. There. Go on, mate. Go on, mate. Go on, lad. Rocky, go on. Go on. Here. Go on. The water is red hot. It's not red hot, but it's warm. I think there might be a shark in here. Honestly, the water is really warm. So that little town you can see at distance here, that's called Berwick-upon-Tweed, and that's the final town before the Scottish border. I'm going to go down there, I'm going to rest for a couple of hours, have something to eat, sort some stuff out, and then I'm going to walk to the Scottish border. Not bad. Not bad to say I set off at 6 o'clock this morning. You swallow them, don't you, so you can eat them all, Rocky. I hope you can see that. Look how clear that water is now from up here. The further up north I've got, the better the sea's got. Wow. Right, so in 2023, that's when I walked from Skegness to Grimsby. I had an house to go back to, and that's also the year that I made myself homeless. In 2024, I went back to Grimsby and walked from there up to Bridlington, and I also had an house to go back to then, because I was in an house for another 8 weeks or something like that. I managed to go into an house just over Christmas for 2 months, so another 8 weeks, and I've been homeless since then. This year I've come back to Bridlington, and I've basically picked up where I left off. I haven't missed no land, and I've walked from Bridlington to Scotland over a space of 29 days. And bearing in mind I've stopped at like Whitby, I was there for 5 days, and I stopped at other places for a few days. But I finally reached the Scottish border today. I feel like it's quite an achievement for myself. Compared to some people on the internet, whether they're climbing up rocks with just using the fingertips and no safety equipment, or they're walking from Scotland down south with pulling pianos with them. There's some pretty serious people, and I'm nothing compared to them. This, what I've done, is quite minor. But then again, to some people it's not minor, so yeah. And when I'm doing stuff like this, I feel a little bit relentless. And how do I feel at the minute? My body's hurting, and I'm extremely tired. I'd like to thank everybody that I've met along the way. I don't need to say no names. Some people stick out more than others, but I don't need to say no names. You've all helped me out. You made me feel at home in England, even though I'm hundreds of miles away from home. Like, the love and respect I've had off you lot is... I don't even know what word to use. I can just say thank you, honestly. And thank you to everybody that supports my channel. And you like the videos that I put up. I do everything off an iPhone. There's a crack in my iPhone camera. My screen's cracked, there's holes in it. But I try and do what I can do. And what I'd like to say as well is, the last video that I put up 27 days later, I'm a bit disappointed in that video because I managed to mess up the audio. So I do apologise to those people that like the videos that I put up, because that's not too great. But having said that, I'm at Scotland and I feel quite good, so you're probably not going to hear nothing from me now for a few days, or it might be a week or something. I'm just going to try and relax up here. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I feel tired. My legs are hurting, my feet are hurting, my back's hurting. When I do stuff like this, it's always on my mind. I don't sleep. I'm always thinking about it and things like that. And I think that's what I mean by relentless. And bless these dogs as well, because these dogs have done it with me. These dogs are tired, so I don't know what else to say, really. That's all off top of head. Just thank you everybody that's watched my videos, supported my channel right from the very beginning up until now. You subscribed, you've shared my videos. I dedicate this video to you a lot as well. So here I am, the Scottish border. Thank you for watching. Thank you.